Taylor Swift responded to Donald Trump by laughing with her friends. When Trump said he likes Taylor's music 25% less, everyone thought Taylor will never respond to him. But here's what happened just the next day.
Donald Trump likes my music 25% less.
Here's where other What do you have to say to Taylor Swift now that she's in politics?
Let's say that I like Taylor's music about 25% less now, okay?
For Tan Marino, he started by lashing out at Taylor Swift. He posted, "I signed and was responsible for the Music Modernization Act for Taylor Swift and all other music artists. Joe Biden didn't do anything for Taylor and never will. There's no way she can endorse crooked Joe Biden, the worst and most corrupt president in the history of our country, and be disloyal to the man who made her so much money."
It started with a pop star and a punchline. Taylor Swift stood on stage with a glittering trophy and said 8 words that made the White House flinch. And Jimmy Kimmel, standing in a studio 3 time zones away, turned the president's reality-bending routine into a televised confession. 2 entertainers, 2 microphones, 1 truth. When power loses its sense of shame, pop culture steps in to remind it. If you support Jimmy Kimmel and Taylor Swift, make sure to like and subscribe, and let us know one quality about these stars in the comments section.
What does President Trump mean when he says that Taylor Swift is no longer hot?
Look, he is speaking about Taylor Swift's political views and how perhaps it has impacted the support of the American public for her work, and I will leave it at that.
The biggest pop culture news of the year broke while we were in this cabinet meeting. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are engaged, and the world wants your reaction, sir.
Well, I wish him a lot of luck.
Oh.
No, I think he's a great player. I think he's a great guy, and I think that she's a terrific person, so I wish them a lot of luck.
August 26th, 2019. The MTV Video Music Awards are running late, the crowd's electric, and Taylor Swift walks up to accept Video of the Year for You Need to Calm Down. Her outfit, a rainbow blazer, already telegraphs the message, but it's what she says next that turns an awards speech into a national moment. She smiles, raises the trophy, and says, "At the end of this video, there's a petition for the Equality Act, which now has over 500,000 signatures, asking the White House to support equality for everyone."
President Donald Trump isn't shaking off his bad blood with Taylor Swift. The commander-in-chief once again sounded off on the music icon, this time in a Truth Social post that doubled down on his now viral swipe at her from the 2024 election. Has anyone noticed that since I said I hate Taylor Swift, she's no longer hot? He wrote on May 16th, referencing his original reaction to the singer endorsing Trump's opponent, Kamala Harris. Though Swift rarely mentions Trump by name, she did express concern about AI-generated images he had shared during his campaign that falsely depicted her supporting him for president. She told Instagram followers at the time that she wanted to publicly clarify her ballot choice to dispel any misinformation. The post has generated more than 11 million likes to date, while Trump openly shared his preference for Swift's friend and fellow Chiefs wag, Brittany Mahomes.
Out of nowhere, after the debate last night, Taylor Swift endorsed Kamala Harris. What do you think?
Well, I actually like Mrs. I actually like Mrs. Mahomes much better, if you want to know the truth. She's a big Trump fan. I was not a Taylor Swift fan. It was just a question of time. You couldn't possibly endorse Biden. You look at Biden, you couldn't possibly endorse him. But she's a very liberal person. She seems to always endorse a Democrat, and she'll probably pay a price for it at in the marketplace. But no, I like Brittany. I think Brittany's great. Brittany got a lot of news last week. She's a big MAGA fan. That's the one I like much better than Taylor Swift.
Then she taps her wrist like a watch. "We'd really like to see you respond." The crowd goes wild. It's polite, precise, and lethal. In 15 seconds, she forces the Trump White House into a corner, because that petition, backed by the You Need to Calm Down campaign, was a direct challenge to an administration that opposed expanding civil rights protections for LGBTQ Americans. Swift's move wasn't a tantrum. It was timing. A live, unscripted nudge that made avoidance impossible.
Because on Friday, out of nowhere, Trump posted, "Has anyone noticed that since I said I hate Taylor Swift, she's no longer hot?"
Wow.
Wow. First of all, sir, keep my best friend Taylor Swift's name out
And the other thing, just from a security
So
standpoint,
you think
Taylor Swift comes out against Trump.
I don't care if they write that. I'm sad that I didn't 2 years ago, but I can't change that. I'm saying right now that this is something that I know is right, and you guys, I need to be on the right side of history. And if he doesn't win, then at least I tried.
Taylor, here's the problem.
I just want to read you what I wrote, and I'm going to try to start. I just really want you to know that this is important to me.
I
and this
totally
is something that,
agree with the issue.
Everything was fine until the next morning, when the White House actually responded. Press Secretary Judd Deere told reporters they opposed the Equality Act in its current form. And just like that, Swift had done what thousands of headlines couldn't, made the government show its hand. People, Billboard, and Time all ran variations of the same headline. Taylor Swift forced a White House response on live television. The footage became one of the most replayed award show moments of the decade.
This is a man who literally hours before this happened posted on Truth Social the words, "I hate Taylor Swift." Somebody sent this to me. I thought it was a joke. I was like, oh, that can't be real. It was real. Which, I was thinking about it. I want to kind of go through and visualize the thought process that went into A, thinking this, B, writing this, and C, posting it, okay? So it's Sunday morning, it's 7:40 a.m. Trump just wolfed down a plate of ketchup and eggs with 9 strips of limp steamer tray bacon that no one can afford to eat anymore because of Biden, and he's ready to go play 18 holes. He's ready. He's got 3 TVs on. He's looking at his phone. Melania is somewhere. He has no idea. Hasn't seen her for weeks, but he's scrolling through Newsmax on Twitter, and he sees a story about how many people registered to vote when Taylor endorsed Kamala Harris, and he's pissed.
If you believe pop stars can expose politics faster than journalists, hit like right now, because this is what happens when melody meets accountability. That was the beginning of what culture critics started calling the Swift effect. She hadn't named Donald Trump directly, but the target was obvious. The Equality Act sat in legislative limbo precisely because of his administration's stance. Within days, the petition shot past 600,000 signatures.
I really hope it actually does something.
But you know what? Donald Trump likes my music 25% less.
Let's say that I like Taylor's music about 25% less now, okay?
Or somebody that I don't know, but you're taking shots at me like it's Patron, and I'm just like, damn, it's 7 a.m.
Moments after we taped our show last night, the Mad Red Hatter wrote, "I can't believe ABC Fake News gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back." You can't believe they gave me my job back. I can't believe we gave you your job back.
Even Kellyanne Conway weighed in on Fox, saying she liked the beat, but called the speech misguided. The irony was complete. The president's senior advisor responding to a pop star's acceptance speech like it was policy. Everything was fine until Jimmy Kimmel picked up his cue. Just 2 weeks later, the country was drowning in Sharpiegate. September 2019, the president stands in the White House briefing room holding up a hurricane forecast map with a suspicious black loop drawn onto it.
The White House was told by ABC that his show was canceled. No, they weren't. Something happened between then and now because his audience is gone and his talent was never there. That I can't argue with. Shut the up. The freedom of speech is only for me. Do not interrupt the president. Why would they want someone back who does so poorly, who's not funny, and who puts the network in jeopardy by playing 99% positive Democrat garbage? Who puts the network in jeopardy? You hear that? There's the threat again. This time straight from FCC Biscuit's mouth. He goes, he says, I think we're going to test ABC out on this. Let's see how we do. Last time I went after them, they gave me $16 million. This one sounds even more lucrative. A true bunch of losers. Only Donald Trump would try to prove he wasn't threatening ABC by threatening ABC.
Apparently to back up his earlier claim that Alabama was in the storm's path. Within hours, meteorologists debunk it. But Kimmel's show that night is where it turns into legend. Donald and the Magic Sharpie, he calls it. His graphics team splits the screen. One side shows the official National Hurricane Center map, the other shows Trump's Sharpie-altered version. It's like kindergarten, Kimmel says, except in this version, the kid runs the weather service. The audience laughs, but the truth lands heavier than the punchline.
Donald Trump emerged the winner on Super Bowl Sunday as a distraught Taylor Swift watched the Kansas City Chiefs collapse against the Philadelphia Eagles. Swift was roundly booed when she appeared on the big screen. And Trump seized on the moment, firing off a Truth Social post that contrasted her jeers with his cheers. Trump stole more headlines when he departed the game early in the ultimate power move. He couldn't resist a final dig at Swift as he flew over the newly named Gulf of America. The only one that had a tougher night than the Kansas City Chiefs was Taylor Swift. She got booed out of the stadium. MAGA is very unforgiving.
The president had literally edited reality on live TV, and Kimmel made sure the tape couldn't disappear. That's how Kimmel exposes power. Not with theories, with evidence. He plays the clip, he shows the visual, and he lets the absurdity explain itself. No slogans, no hysteria, just the spotlight. Everything was fine until 2020, when the pandemic hit and the absurdity went airborne. April 23rd, 2020.
It's possible, hear me out, it's possible people are talking about her a little less these days because her 149-date Eras tour ended 6 months ago. Have you noticed how she hasn't gone to Kansas City Chiefs games since February? Am I the only one? Also, Taylor hasn't gotten a single Christmas present all spring. Santa hates you, Tay-Tay. By the way, I fired Santa, and Marco Rubio will be serving as interim Saint Nick.
And you almost have to feel sorry for the people who work for him, who try to clean up the messes. They've been bending over backwards to say, oh, he never threatened. J.D. Vance today made the claim that what the FCC chairman said was a joke, which, I don't know, maybe that was a joke? I don't know. They go to all these lengths to say, oh, it wasn't coercion. The president was just musing. And then the second Trump is alone, he sits on the toilet, he gets his grubby little thumbs on his phone, and he immediately blows their excuses to smithereens and says, it was ratings that got me fired. Has anyone ever been fired for bad ratings on a Wednesday?
The president takes the podium at a COVID briefing and wonders aloud whether disinfectant or ultraviolet light could be used inside the body. Within hours, hospitals, poison control centers, and comedians are all doing damage control. That night, Kimmel broadcasts from his house, a shaky camera pointed at his living room wall. He plays the clip. He doesn't even crack a smile at first. He just blinks, sighs, and says, you know, usually when a president tells people to inject something, it's hope. The crowdless monologue goes viral anyway.
This was his big closer. Let Jimmy Kimmel rot in his bad ratings. And he does know bad ratings. He has some of the worst ratings any president has ever had. So, on behalf of all of us, welcome to the crappy ratings club, Mr. President. Next, he'll try to sue us. And I want to say good luck with that, because we thought about it, we packed the courts, and we have a surprise ace up our sleeve, Mr. Judge Steve Harvey. That's right. Survey says you lose. Sadly, the truth is no one wants to face Donald Trump in court. That's where he's at his most flatulent. And
CNN, Vanity Fair, and Vulture call it the pandemic sanity check. If you're watching and you ever screamed, "Is this real life?" during 2020, drop a comment, because Kimmel's expression that night was all of us. But Kimmel's most famous exposure wasn't even political theater. It was personal. September 2017. His newborn son, Billy, had just survived open heart surgery.
with real estate. Yeah, he's an artist. He's Vincent Van Gogh to jail with real estate is what he is. He also boasted that his dad is the father of hotel gyms. He said, maybe someone put a gym in a building somewhere, but no one did it at the scale of my father. He's saying that his father, the father of the hotel gym, is a guy who's never stepped inside one, okay? The amount of ass kissing in this trial is insane. DJ TJ, of course, denies any and all wrongdoing and is instead going with the "our accountants did it" defense.
Kimmel walks on stage, voice shaking, and tells America that his child would be alive today because of doctors at a public hospital, not privilege. Then he turns the story into policy. He reminds viewers that Senator Bill Cassidy had gone on his show and promised no family will be denied care because they can't afford it. Then Kimmel reads the text of the Graham Cassidy healthcare bill and calmly calls it what it is, a betrayal. Either he doesn't understand his own bill, Kimmel says, or he lied to me.
For those who think I go too hard on Donald Trump, to the point where there are still a lot of people who think I should be pulled off the air for making fun of Donald Trump. So I want to explain, I talk about Trump more than anything because he's a bully. I don't like bullies. I played the clarinet in high school, okay? So I just don't like him. Donald Trump is an old-fashioned 80s movie-style bully, taking your lunch money. And if you give it to him once, he'll take it again. Two things he loves, lunch and money, okay? He will take that peanut butter and jelly sandwich your mom cut in half like a triangle for you. He will gobble it up in front of your face, and then he'll eat your little Ziploc bag of Oreos, too. And he'll take the note your mother put in your lunchbox, and he'll read it aloud to everyone. Oh, look, Mommy loves her little boy. And then he'll smile with a bunch of cookies in his teeth. And he'll grab you by your nipples, and he'll twist them until you have 2 holes in your Le Tigre shirt because your parents couldn't afford an Izod.
The audience doesn't laugh, they clap. It's one of the few times in late night history when laughter wasn't needed. It was raw, civic exposure, and it stuck. The Jimmy Kimmel test became a term cited in congressional debates for years. By 2025, both Kimmel and Swift had become shorthand for a new kind of accountability. Neither holds office, neither wears a press badge, but both have audiences that politicians envy. When Swift releases a statement, it moves voters. When Kimmel rolls a clip, it moves polls.
You know, they don't have time for this sort of thing. They've got real crimes to solve, like who hit the stop button on the president's escalator yesterday.
When you put all of this together, it doesn't look like a coincidence to me. And I know that we have people, including the United States Secret Service, who are looking into this to try to get to the bottom of it. And if we find that these were UN staffers who were purposefully trying to trip up, literally trip up, the president and the first lady of the United States, well, there better be accountability for those people. And I will personally see to it, Jesse.
Good. That 14-year-old girl is right. We've got to get to the bottom of Escalate-gate. Now, every report I've seen says it was one of the president's own videographers who bumped the safety mechanism accidentally, which might not seem like a big deal until you realize it is a very big deal.
They could have hurt the most beautiful first lady in American history. Why are we paying for a building that's just trying to injure the first lady?
Everything was fine until October 2025, when Trump, now back in office, had a meltdown over an unflattering Time magazine cover. That night, Kimmel compared the president's vanity to an existential crisis. World on fire, democracy wobbling, and he's mad about lighting. The crowd laughed, but the meaning was obvious. Nothing changes. Power still craves flattery more than progress, and Kimmel's job, as always, is to hold up the mirror.
Explain to me again this idea that the media is biased against Trump, because it's not adding up for me right now. Trump escalated this minor incident bigly today. He put up a 357-word post calling for whoever was responsible for it to be arrested. And in case you haven't seen the shocking near tragedy already, here it was.
Taylor Swift and Jimmy Kimmel may live in different worlds, one in stadiums, the other in studios, but they share a strategy. Tell the truth so simply, it sounds dangerous. Swift did it with grace, forcing the White House to put its position on record. Kimmel did it with mockery, forcing the president to watch his own contradictions play out on screen. One exposed hypocrisy with kindness, the other with comedy, but both reached the same conclusion. If power won't tell the truth, someone else will.
You know what else is sad? That the President of the United States has a lower approval rating than Diddy and diarrhea. That's what's sad. You know, if he's looking, I know he cares very deeply about this sort of thing. If he's looking to improve his approval numbers, I have an idea. Release the Epstein files. Yeah.
Did you ever think the President of the United States would be celebrating your unemployment?
I mean, that son of a bitch, you know, is really unbelievable.
Mr. Son of a bitch.
I mean,
Mr. Son of a bitch.
His royal Yes, yeah, no, I never imagined that we'd ever have a president like this, and I hope we don't ever have another president like this again. I mean, I never even imagined there would ever be a situation in which the president of our country was celebrating hundreds of Americans losing their jobs. There's somebody who took pleasure in that. That, to me, is the absolute opposite of what a leader of this country is supposed to be.
Hit like if you believe artists and comedians have become the real opposition research team of modern America, and drop a comment below. Whose approach hit harder for you? Taylor Swift's quiet call-out or Jimmy Kimmel's public autopsy of absurdity? If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to America Facticity for more breaking news.